blink and gone. Oh, in a blink gone, blink gone. 놓칠 수 없어. Blink and gone. 더 카카오 틱톡 틱톡 무조건 즐겨봐. Blink gone. Oh, in a blink gone. Let's go. 오늘 이 순간 다시는 오지 않아. 파티가 시작돼 and let's go crazy. 손 흔들어 리듬에 몸을 맡겨봐. 이 음악 on and on. 조명은 내 눈을 간지러 피곤한 웃음 짓고 신일들 빛나는 이 시간이 사라지기 전에 Oh, we no blink on. 모두 잊고 즐겨봐. Oh, we no blink on. 놓치지 마 이 순간. I'm telling you blink on. 후회 남기지 마라. Now clock goes tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Blink on. Oh, in a blink on, blink and gone. 지금만 끽해. In a blink on. 머리는 비워, 짐은 필요 없어. 파티를 책임져. And no, don't look back now. 어제도 내일도 나에겐 없는 거야. It's this moment for now. 용기는 우리를 감싸 안고 맘을 일으키고 뜨거운 이 전율은 하늘 끝까지 퍼져나가. Oh, in a blink on. 모두 잊고 즐겨봐. Oh, in a blink on. 놓치지 마 이 순간. I'm telling you blink on. 후회 남기지 마라. The clock goes tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Blink on. 모두 잊고 즐겨봐. Oh, in a blink on. 놓치지 마 이 순간. I'm telling you blink on. 후회 남기지 마라. The clock goes tick tock, tick tock. Oh, in a blink on. 모두 잊고 즐겨봐. Oh, in a blink on. 놓치지 마 이 순간. I'm telling you blink on. 후회 남기지 마라. The clock goes tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Blink on.
Let me put on some tunes.
I'm shocked we had a Will I Am story. That's crazy.
That's actually
It's actually wild.
Like a
insane.
real one. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, dog. All right. So, let's pick it right back up where we had left off last time, which was with Heidi preparing or making her last final preparations for her spell, and a few people being out and about taking care of last minute things that they needed to take care of. And I'm actually not sure where everyone is. I believe Malachi was still in the room with Heidi. Blue might have stepped out. Jax might have stepped out.
Clint came
But-
back with the makeup. Jax never left.
True, you came back with the makeup. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Jax was just kind of like wallflowering in the room. That's true.
No, actually no. Malachi was wallflowering, and Jax was staying there to talk with the maiden. It was reversed.
Well,
True,
and
true.
Malachi had asked the maiden to like brain dump a little bit of Hanish into them.
hmm
True.
And brain dump, she will, and I believe that's where I had left off last time,
Yeah,
as she will share a memory with you guys.
Not another dump.
that's
So-
it.
You said it.
No.
It was on my mind as well, but I decided against it.
Alright,
Behave.
moving on,
Fuck,
folks.
the behave is ridiculous. Okay, so with that out of the way, I do recall now. The last thing I said is she is going to share a message with you, a memory with you even, and we had left it off there. But here is the memory. As she did last time as well, she will ask all of you to close your eyes for a brief moment. And assuming you all do so, for a moment, there's just quiet. You hear each other's breaths. And then that is replaced by the sounds of battle, loud and overwhelming in your mind. Shadowy figures lurking on the outskirts of your vision, moving far too quickly with supernatural speed and force, bright and pure lights illuminating the field of battle you find yourselves on. But there are whispers, voices speaking in a language you don't understand, but only for a moment before your mind begins to comprehend the spoken words. Tainted above, archers at the ready, hold, steady, fire! A salvo of arrows is shot into the sky above, a bright flash of light being released on impact with the tainted. Celebratory screams of victory and success are followed by a much calmer and cutting voice. Today we rise and fight for our truth. Victory to Han! And your brief but intense journey into Ellipsia's past fades. You have now mastered the Hanish language for a while. I'll have all of you that don't speak Hanish roll a d10 to determine the length for which you will have mastered it.
Ooh. As one who
Every-
speaks Infernal, can I kind of start joining the dots and kind of like learn the differences between those to keep it?
Little
Jack-
by little, perhaps.
No way.
Yeah,
On brand.
little by little, perhaps. But it's going to be a problem,
Let's go, 3 for 3. Just kidding.
I'm-
Oh my god.
Those ones existed so that 10 could.
It's so true.
We walk so you
Unreal.
can run.
Hey, wait, there's a 1 in there.
It's gonna like land there and forget it immediately.
Insane. However, but wait, there's more. For every number that you've rolled, it represents a day of speaking and understanding Hanish perfectly. For every number below a 10, you take 1d4 psychic damage due to the sheer weight of the memory.
Ooh.
So, Blue and Jax, I apologize, but 17 points of damage to both of you.
I'm resistant.
It's resistant to learning.
Knowledge.
Let's fucking go.
That explains a lot, actually.
Yeah. That is too good. But
Actually, I
that-
think Clue was surprised he was getting the memory because he kind of can converse. So he was like, "What?" And all of a sudden he was like, "Fuck!"
No, wait, yeah, Clue already understands it, so does he even need to roll? He didn't even need to roll, did
Don't
he?
speak Hanish in particularly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
you
speak like
something adjacent to it. So
What?
could
I speak something
communicate
adjacent
probably.
to it, that.
it's a little different.
you still,
It's more
yeah,
like-
you still had to roll. Still had to roll. So did Clue. Like over the course of spending time there, you'll probably have an easier time than someone like Jax
Yeah.
to learn the language. But it doesn't mean that you simply have it, have
Okay,
access to it.
I might like speak like how like a fucking 500-year-old person would.
True.
Yeah, I'd say it's like, I think I said it last time, it's like French people and Canadians. Like, the same language for the most part, but the French claim that the Canadians simply have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
They claim.
Anyway, they claim, so they say.
I mean, this French, you know, is France isn't a country. Like, are they valid? That is also a good question.
Hey, we don't slander the French here. We slander the Italians.
We're doing it the other way around in Brazil.
We need our
Really?
Italian back so that we can slander
No,
into his
we-
face.
No, like me and my friends who have like Italian ancestry, we actually slander Italy quite a lot. But we also kind of mock France, and that's how. Well, we mock all of Europe, really, and most of the northern hemisphere, but mostly Europe. Not as much as the Portuguese, though. Anyway,
And with that knowledge also added to your memory banks now, I'll hand it back over to you. as Ellipsia has shared language with you for a time.
My head hurts.
Ow.
A weighty memory, to be sure. Was that you in battle against them?
That was me in battle with them. We shared the battlefield once. And I don't believe we will ever again. Is there anything else I can do for you? It seems she is almost ready.
I appreciate this greatly.
Thank you very much. Hold the fort
You
down
have
while we're
enough.
gone.
All good.
I shall. Be well, travelers.
And this time, as she leaves, she does use the door. Because it has been pointed out before that maybe she should, and so she does. She'll step to the door, reach out one of her owlin hands, turn the knob, and exit. Close the door behind her.
Very well. I hope your quick lesson has been fruitful.
There was a lesson.
Short-term one, but I suppose it was. I don't know quite well what you saw, but it was a privilege to see it in of itself. Ancient history, in the most literal sense. Anyway, are you all set to go? I have some explanations to deliver before we begin the process. And, well, I guess continuing off from a previous conversation, as you guys, as this whole process was happening, Heidi and another body of hers were preparing the room, like setting up several talismans and like a wide magical circle and other patterns on the walls and the floor, like kind of turning the entire room into like a chamber for the spell, essentially. So unless you have any other things to take care of, I will debrief you on what we're going to be doing right now, and then we can get started.
All right.
Ready as ever.
I will take that as a yes from everyone.
Sorry, my microphone was struggling. Yes.
So,
Malachi suddenly has a microphone.
we will be traveling planes using a spell whose original name, I believe, is Dream of the Blue Veil.
I knew it.
So all of you will be falling asleep. From your perspective, really, it's not very complicated. You will just be unconscious for a few hours, experience some dreams of the place that we are going to, and when you wake up, we will be there. Simplicity itself. It's going to be a little more complicated for me, so just to explain what's going to happen, I will be channeling the spell's magical output, which is not small by any means, and attempting to both evade whatever things will try to keep us here, and connect myself, reach out to the natural flow of the energy and the Kami and Han so that they can guide us there and sort of root us in that dimension. At the same time, and the other ID in the room like picks up the explanation, I will be doing all of the relevant calculations and other fine adjustments so that our travel and security continues to be protected. You can think of me as a co-pilot of sorts. But as I said, you will not need to worry much. You will simply experience some sweet dreams, and all going according to plan, you wake up there. Now, once you do wake up there, a few things to be noted. I cannot control the exact location that we will be landing in. It should not be outside of the region that I am from. It is called Libaraki, but I can't be completely sure. The worst case scenario, we'll need to take a quick break, and then I will be capable of transporting us to my master's workshop directly. There is a variety of scenarios we might find ourselves in once we land, but in general, if we land near people, please try to let me handle the interaction. If we land in a dangerous situation where violence is completely unavoidable, then, well, we'll just have to get out of it by the means available to us. Otherwise, if we land somewhere we can stop and assess the situation, we should do so. There are perhaps some things of note for us to discuss about the region, but I don't think it's completely fruitful for us to address them right now, because I also don't know what the state of the land is at this point. So the first order of business, as soon as we get there, will be to reach the Matsuoka family's workshop. Once we are there, we will consult my master if he is there. He should be, if nothing untoward has happened, but we should learn what the situation is like in the region ever since I left. And after we have done so, we can plan our next steps. Does that sound reasonable?
I follow your lead.
Alright, let's get this started.
Don't discount the possibility that we may get dropped straight into a brawl of some kind, so be on your guard.
Yes, exactly. But if possible, do not engage in violence. And be mindful not to show too much power. One of the things that we have going for us is that when I left my homeland, I was far weaker than I am right now, and I would like for people to believe that until I want them not to.
Even your master?
No, it is fine for him.
Alright.
But the thing is, clan heads and other things like that, it is good for them to know how powerful I am. But exactly how powerful is something that is better off not divulged needlessly.
Always better to be underestimated.
Correct. But I will also not hide myself. Oh, and speaking of which, I think it's about time I get rid of this pesky little thing. Heidi like waves a hand, and the sort of like beauty mark under her left eye like dissolves into like this black smoke and dissipates into the air. I'm not really going to need that anymore, so...
What was
Wait,
that?
just the beauty mark?
Hmm?
Just the beauty mark? Just the mole?
Yep. Just like dissolves and is gone.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut this off. Kevin, how long have we been playing this campaign that got here?
2 years.
2 years? This man has put me under stress for 2 years of that beauty mark.
Yes.
Yes, to get rid of it.
I mean, I told you. I told you I had to do it to him.
Malachi just kind of looks very nonplussed and was like, "Was that supposed to be a disguise of some kind?"
It was a little bit of a charm that kept people from figuring out. Not kept people from figuring out, but it indicated that I was specifically a certain kind of person. I don't really need that kind of thing anymore.
Something from your homeland, then.
It's
Well,
probably
I
good you
couldn't-
got it removed.
Well, I still hold the power to just not let people know what I am unless I want them to, but it's more that I don't want to... There's a difference between hiding yourself and pretending to be something that you're not. I'm just getting rid of the second.
My painting.
It's okay.
Apologies.
Take a little eraser. Be fine.
That's not how it works.
You can just paint over it. That is how it works.
Then the brush strokes are all up. You guys don't understand art.
Malachi just kind of ruffles
apologies.
Clue's hair, intentionally messing with him.
You just throw it out.
To be fair, you never asked if it was real or fake.
No. Because normal people don't do that. That's weird. And insulting. Hey, is that your real face?
It is.
Weird. Start your spell. Clue
Oh,
meditates.
Oh, very well. If you will all please be seated in your designated seats.
We all said, I'm assuming.
Yes,
I would assume so.
I would assume so, yes.
I think
Um,
the silence meant everybody's moving.
Yeah,
I've
once
painted
everyone
that
is...
mole on so many times, dude.
Yep, I'm sorry. It was part of the design until, like, right now. But also, like, it specifically didn't start the campaign out with her. I specifically described that she woke up one day and she just had it, like, on her face.
I do recall.
Yeah. Anyway. Heidi and her other self are going to sit on like opposite ends of the circle and...
Does her other
Like
self
cross,
still
like-
have it?
Sorry, what?
Does her other self still have it?
No.
Oh.
But
Way
she,
to finally
it
tell them
didn't like
apart.
just automatically vanish like she's a mirror. She also dismissed it at the same time. But they both like enter like this sort of like you know, cross legs, hand in the mudra sign position, and there's like a wide magical circle positioned like around everyone, and it begins to light up with this pink sort of energy. In the room fills with smoke that emerges from seemingly out of nowhere, just materializes in thin air, like this sweet scented smoke. And Ida begins chanting. It's not really Hunnish. Like, you can tell it's more like a... It's close, but it's more like an archaic form, with several words that might have evolved to mean other things, but don't really, like, not in that form. She spends several minutes doing that. It's a pretty long casting time. As the room begins to continue to gradually like fill with more and more smoke, it gets more dense, and toward the end of it, you begin to feel a little like lightheaded, like the smoke itself is working as a sort of like narcoleptic almost. And as she, both her and the clone finish chanting the spell, the circle activates completely. Like it's a very layered magical circle with like the outer structure of it, but being a summoning circle, but in reverse to sort of like unsummon us into Shatrix. And covered with other symbols and patterns that represent things that specifically don't exist in Pernod, like only in Hun specifically, since that's where it comes from. But the plane of Shatrix in general, like plants, animals, and other concepts, the moons, the differences of the moons, etc. Like a lot of things that don't exist here are being portrayed specifically in the circle, like symbolically, to further like push us away from here and into another place. And as the spell finishes, like its actual casting, everyone will fall asleep into peaceful, sweet slumber, while Heidi also falls unconscious, both of the IDs, but they will be sort of still kind of aware and working on actually making the trip. Oh, fuck, forgot about this, but before Heidi finishes, she will out loud say, "I ask that we are hidden from the prying eyes of those who will stop us, that we are transported safely back into my home, under the moon's guidance." And she finishes casting the spell.
And with that, let me hit this button. As all of your breaths begin to slow, almost coming to a complete halt, your eyes closed, giving way to the darkness of a restful and long sleep. You're now in nothing but a beautiful, quiet, and all-encompassing void. And there, you remain, all alone, floating in nothingness, finally resting from the weeks, months of stress and constant danger. You don't know how much time has passed, but eventually you begin to remember. Remember who you are, remember where you are, and remember why you are here. Your friends and companions come to mind. You open your eyes, turn your heads to the side, and spot one of them floating in darkness nearby. Their head also turning, looking for you, and the others who are also regaining consciousness. You glance about, inspecting the darkness around you, and see geometric shapes that continuously move and are hard to define. Say faint movements in the dark, impossible to distinguish shape or size of them, however, and whispers, sometimes distant, sometimes a little closer, but never close enough for you to understand what they are or who they come from. What do you wish to do here?
Is that everyone or two Irie?
Everyone.
The heck is going on?
This is the space between worlds, I imagine.
Does this feel familiar to Clue at all?
Is ID? I forgot. Did you say if ID's here?
Everyone's here.
Okay. Or it could be the veil that separates Han from the rest of Shatrix.
Just don't drift away and don't look into the dark. Focus on yourselves as much as possible. Just think about getting out of Pernod.
And with that thought, despite there being a distinct lack of really any physical landmarks around, almost as if on command, the moment your intentions of exiting Pernod and reaching Han in Shatrix are even thought, you spot maybe 30 feet below you the dim shimmer of what might be some sort of platform.
Do we go over there?
Considering I'm the one in command of the spell, does that feel like the way?
Seems like the only way.
Yes. Use that for now.
Whee!
Jax, stay with the group.
Not so loud.
We're trying to pierce through two planar barriers. The one that keeps everything in Pernod. The one that keeps everything out of Han.
Something interesting there as Jax kind of screams that "Whee!" Perhaps in a large, empty, open space like this, you might expect his voice to echo loudly, reverberate around you. But instead you feel it consumed. Quiet. But you all descend, I assume, at this point. You will yourselves down toward the platform and set foot upon it. Once again, perhaps you do glance around, perhaps some of you listen to Idi's instructions and don't stare into the darkness. Don't stare into the void because you don't know what could happen. It could stare back at you. What would you like to do now?
What does the platform look like again?
I'd say shapeless, truly. Malachi, from where you are, you can't quite see how large the platform is. It seems to reach maybe 5 feet away from your current spot, but then you glance at it again and certainly more like 30. Then you turn your head the other way and you're right on the edge of it. As you refocus once again, it seems like maybe 10-15 feet instead. You're not sure. It's ever changing perhaps, or simply you cannot grasp the size of it, truly.
I think Clu's just gonna focus on making a path to, or making a path forward
Okay.
to wherever Irie's sort of memory or imagination of her home is.
I want to focus on the memory that the frost maiden imparted to us, and the skies above Han.
Okay. One by one, you think of expanding this platform, turning it perhaps into a walkway for you into the darkness and hopefully out of it. So the moment you do so, Malachi as well, seems as though this shapeless platform becomes liquid, moves and reshapes itself. And you can see a walkway forward. The moment it is complete, you hear in your head, Clue. You were never meant to escape us. Your father sent you here to die. Are you going to ignore his wish? Malachi, in your mind, you hear, you have been sentenced to an eternity in this prison. We have sentenced you to that eternity. It was one Pandora's prison once, and we are yours now too.
You cannot
We're going to
contain
do-
me.
Yeah. We're going to do the following here. I'm not going to tell you exactly what this is, who this is, but we're going to participate in a skill challenge
Ooh.
out of this place. Now, the only skill checks that will be allowed are wisdom, charisma, and intelligence based ones. Unless you can convince me to use any other ability modifier for them. You'll need 3 successes within 5 attempts. The first one beginning now. Clue, Malachi, the stage is yours. How would you like to represent your group here?
I think Malachi just responds to the barrier and says, "You cannot contain me. I've traveled across the plains before. I have business in Han. If you're so worried, I'll be coming back. Don't worry." And I think he's trying to use that as like either a kind of a combination of intimidation as well as persuasion, saying like, you really can't stop me, but trust me, I'll be back. I've got unfinished business there.
Okay. You pick one and go for it.
They're the same role. I'll just go for the intimidation, because why not?
Thought that was a 1.
Dog.
Malachi. That is a success, although barely one.
Ooh.
The pathway you have created, Malachi, with your thoughts and your intent of leaving, remains. Clue.
I think in the same vein, Clue's going to respond to the voice. and sort of look around as if he's trying to see through them, trying to find the path. And he'll say, I was right to go against him then. I'm right to disobey him now. My mistake was thinking I was wrong. Get out of my way. You're not the right path. And I'm going to attempt a perception check to kind of see through whatever veil they're trying to put up.
Okay.
Ooh.
Once again, success. As you respond to these voices, the path that you are carving through,
They're like pussy. There's pus.
The fuck?
What the fuck?
that
I
was
don't
good.
want to know
Girlfriend's
what it
talking
is.
about my dog's ears.
That was good. But the path that you are carving, Fluke, expands a little bit. Although the darkness remains, you have the impression that the path forward is clearer to you. Be it perhaps a little bit more light in that direction, or perhaps you're sensing a faint breeze. Or maybe it's something just deep within you that tells you this is the correct path. Your group pushes onward. Jax, you hear in your mind. You were never meant to succeed here. You lost your loved ones. Your brother is gone forever. You have disappointed everyone you care for. And Heidi, you hear. They chased you out once, and yet you return. A small, fragile girl. They will break you again, and again, and again.
In this moment, being reminded of his loved ones, I think Jax is going to focus on them and try to resist the belief that they're gone and continue to push himself to remember their faces, what they look like, what they sound like. He hopes to bring himself closer to them.
What role would that mean?
I could make the argument for persuasion, because he's like
Okay.
trying to persuade himself that this
Okay.
person is lying.
I like that, I like that. A little bit of gaslighting.
I think that's, I don't know what else that would really work under. So we'll go with that.
Okay.
Would you like me to roll now?
Say that again?
Would you like me to roll now?
Yes, please.
Nice.
Nice.
As you convince yourself, Jax, your family still out there, waiting for you. There is a sense of dread within your mind that simply won't leave it. Maybe you did fail them all. Maybe you truly lost them all. Maybe your journey has become obsolete. What are you really doing here, Jax? Is this just for your own satisfaction at this point? Do you believe that you've done something? To convince yourself that you really tried your best, but deep down you know you didn't? It wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. That role is not a success. Heidi, you sense Jax's determination wavering next to you. And the rest of you see the path that has been carved in front of you almost tremble alongside Jax's insecurities. You know you have to act quickly, Heidi, for it to remain stable, for your path onward to remain open.
Well, as Heidi's clone, who is already also on the journey, will try to focus on kind of like stabilizing Jax so he doesn't get lost in the middle of the way, like doesn't lag behind in some way. Heidi herself will sort of like stick to the plan. She's hearing the voices and kind of being like, sure, just the annoying power of the barrier trying to convince me to get out. But thankfully, I have never been broken, so I can't be broken again. And she will, as she had already planned to do, focus on maintaining this sort of like the spell's inherent power as sort of like a bullet shell around everyone, as if we're sort of like shooting towards somewhere else, while reaching out with her magic almost like feelers, like ahead of us, to try to connect to the ley lines in Han and like pull us, instead of just, you know, there is a portion of just using the spell to shoot forward, but also a little bit of Heidi using her own magical energy stretched like as thin as possible to get out and grab and then pull us into the place we're trying to go, and eventually. So she's trying to manage that with her clone assisting by like stabilizing the whole thing and running like equations and positions, trying to feel like the geometry of where we are and everything else. I will also cast guidance. Because I did ask for divine help for us to reach our destination. I'm trying to see if the moon lights my way. The moon haunts you.
Okay. So, what role are you going for, Heidi?
I'm going for Arcana.
Okay, beautiful.
Let's go.
Oh, shit, that modifier.
Yep.
Oh my lord.
I saw a 6 and I was like, this is still fine actually.
Oh my god. I got
That's
so
a total
nervous.
of
I was like,
24
not
though.
this.
There was a part of me that was like, what if I just took the Arcana? Glad this is-
I still have other tricks up my sleeve.
How the fuck
Don't
is
worry
it
about
a
it.
15?
He got expertise after we sat on the throne and looked into space.
I know, but expertise would put it at 13, wouldn't it?
No.
No, we
Our
went up
proficiency
in
went up.
proficiency
Oh,
bonus.
wait, yeah,
'cause we
you're right,
leveled
you're
up.
Kevin keeps forgetting that we, like, for some reason it's always with me. Kevin is like, how come Ida is level 13?
Well, I mean, also, I just looked at my stealth and I'm like, oh yeah, that's plus 15. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
Like,
forgot
whenever
we gained a
anyone else-
proficiency bonus right there.
Anyone else does a level 13 thing? No, that's fine. I do a level 13 thing. How come she gets to do it?
Nerf ID. For next session, everybody is 13, ID is 12.
Yeah,
like-
let's go.
Which is like highly disrespectful considering Clue almost can't fail rolls like this anymore.
But, ID, as you do so, succeeding in your role as well, most of you finally pushing the voices aside. At last, at the end of this walkway that you've presented yourselves with, really, you now see a little gate emerging, shimmering golden light piercing through the darkness of this space. And Heidi didn't even need to use her special eyes to see this one. What would you like to do?
I think Malachi will just kind of give a slight bow and gesture for Heidi to lead the way.
I'm gonna keep focusing on keeping all of the magic that is in and around us working and pull ourselves towards our destination. Like sort of like yank on the connection, propel everyone while grasping onto any connection she has to her home, whether it's her own story or folklore, local knowledge, traditional magical practices. Everything that just pushes that way.
And as you do so, probably still walking toward the gate, it almost feels to you as though the gate is approaching you as well. Coming closer toward you. And within a few steps only, far less than you thought initially you would have to take, you all find yourselves only steps away from this shimmering light. It seems friendly and warm, inviting, welcoming, but you cannot see past it. Are you taking the leap?
I'm usually very skeptical of things that seem inviting. But as it would feel like that's where the strains of magic are taking us, I would go in, especially since this is my thing in the first place. It makes sense that I would go in.
Okay. And ID steps through the gate and into the light. How about the rest?
Malachi will follow.
Okay.
As Malachi steps through, Jax is just gonna mutter to himself, "They're not gone. They can't be gone." And step through.
Clue,
Mis-
you're all alone.
Before he walks out, I'll take one last look back. I'll be back. Know that. I'll walk through.
that, all of you have left this portion of your journey behind. And with that, you enter a different one. Shatrix is a realm of wonder, perseverance, and opportunity. Its history of discovery and mayhem, but also of resistance and hope, have shaped its people in unimaginable ways. People from all walks of life, racial backgrounds, and personal motivations gather here. In this new age, post-severance, seek possibility, and fulfill their dreams. Now, its inhabitants are preparing for the upcoming widely celebrated holiday referred to as the Rekindling of the Hearth, a day to remember the sacrifices made by Shatrix's people and their divine companions and protectors, the Exalted. As such, the lustrous church and its vast influence over large parts of the realm are in full force, monitoring all happenings in the vicinity of the capital, enforcing their laws more strictly than usual in an effort to prevent anything from disrupting this holy day. But your story today is much smaller, much more detached from the preparations for the imminent festivities. Your story will take place within the Veil, the magical barrier that was erected years ago to protect or isolate the people of Han from the rest of Shatrix. As your consciousnesses fly overhead, taking on the vastness of Shatrix with your eyes and mind, you see several large continents surrounded by smaller islands and massive bodies of water. Upon the most central landmass, you swear you can spot a golden shimmer that pierces through the skies and even up to where you currently are. From everything you have heard, that must be Krigby, the capital of the gods. You continue your drift across the skies of the Dreamers, and looking up above you, you see the beautiful and all-encompassing silvery light of Ramiel. Once, angel of the written word, now, one of the moons that circles and guards Shatrix. In the distance, always close by, but never stealing one another's spotlight, are the other moons. Gazardiel, Anapiel, and Mydael. Shatrix's true parents. Shatrix's creators. Watching over their child until it is no more. And from below, a dark dot shoots up at you, rapidly, unwaveringly, aiming directly for you and your companions.
Dark
As it
dot?
begins to come, a little dot. As it gets closer, it comes into view. You realize it is a silvery white owl with two piercing golden eyes. You've seen this one before. Tyran's owl. Ram. It stops, maybe 5 feet away from you, flapping its wings. It speaks. And you hear Tyran's voice. You have made it to Shatrix, I see. I can see why you are here. I will follow your journey with great interest. My sight into the veil is sometimes slightly distorted, and even so, I will be watching. I wish you the best of luck.
fiery storm is brewing within. Beware its flames. Is there anything I can do for you?
Did you receive a message about what Pandora's planning?
A message that I certainly remember to send.
I know, right?
Yep. Yep.
I already did.
Yeah, I already sent the message. Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust, big trust.
There was just a loading circle for a minute.
He wishes to transfer his consciousness out of Purnol, thereby circumventing the barriers, imprisoning him.
I'm just gonna hold for a minute to see if ID is typing or is wanting to put it differently. If not, I'll just go with that.
No, I would have sent a message to that effect, essentially.
And Malachi's just restating the message in case.
Yeah,
Get
briefly. Yeah, just briefly telling him like what the overall.
His
Plan.
bitch ass is trying to change his bitch ass subconsciousness into a bitch ass.
Yes.
Yep.
That's exactly how I would put it,
Yeah.
word by word.
Add a
Unreal.
TSIMFD on the end for effect.
Tyrion responds.
I did receive her message. And I had an inkling that's what he was doing, but to see it confirmed, it is worrisome.
It seems.
I will do what I can from here. But I do believe you will be able to do more than I am able to. From where you will be, hopefully.
Perhaps you can keep a lookout for any possible vessels. I have a feeling that girl that we captured may merely have been someone from Purnol who was prepared to house Ira's consciousness. And
And correct you are.
Sorry, did you want to say something else?
No, just and not her actual consciousness, or and not her actual body.
And correct you are. It dawned on me during the fight. If that truly had been Ira, I'm uncertain we would have made it out. But good looking out. I will do what I do best as well. See everything. Well, I shouldn't disturb you any longer.
The owl kind of turns its head, looking at each of your consciousnesses. For a moment, there are no bodies after all, but still, Tyrion seems to be able to see you, detect you, sense you.
Have fun.
And with that, Ram's owl eyes turn downward, and you rapidly begin to drop towards where Ram is glancing. Spiraling through the air, spiraling through the clouds, attempting to hold on to each other, with little to no success, straight towards a massive dome of roiling smoke and cloud, oddly akin to ID's own magic. And then you spot it. A blue veil in the air, beckoning you towards it, inviting you to step through and exit the dream. This is your final chance not to take that path.
Imagine.
It is entirely up to you.
I shoot off to the Oasis of Dreams. No.
Do you all commit to the veil?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And as you all finally exit on the other side, Actually, before we do that, let me reveal something slightly different. This is a more accurate map of your view of Shatrix, including Han.
Oh shit.
Wow. Yeah, I need to move chat. It's in the corner.
Chat, is this Han?
Yeah,
Chat.
chat's covering up Han.
Is you Han?
Lola?
Hi, honey.
Han Solo, true. But with that,
Han is so low.
welcome to Shatrix. Welcome to Han. And this time, truly and literally, welcome to a dream come true.
Let's go!
Please let me know if I fucked up the settings, but I'm fairly sure I was diligent with them this time.
We're in fucking Shatrix, mate.
Hey, tricks. Tricks.
Let's
We doing tricks on. We doing tricks with this one.
I don't like that.
Why? What's wrong with it?
We're playing tricks on this one.
Silly
It's
rabbit.
loading.
Tricks are for kids.
Let's get blacked out.
Loading, it's loading. I'm
Let me
loading.
know once it loads. I don't want
Thinking,
to
it's
continue
thinking,
before
it's
you.
thinking.
Gonna take a minute.
Is there like a little loading
you're-
icon on the
Yeah.
screen, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, there
are.
is.
Okay,
It's just stuck at 98%, but there.
I promise it's there.
Get better, internet nerd.
Double. I'm blocking you.
Malachite deleted.
People's internet money. Shade them. Shade them. I think I have money for internet out here. Fuck up my face.
I think I have pretty good internet, but well,
Still loading, still loading.
It's
My bad.
finished
Oi.
on my end. Get good, internet nerd.
There it is.
Still loading, still loading.
You guys seeing the person?
main character.
Gotta push
You guys
all
seeing
the
another
pixels
person
through
out of the country
content.
too?
Yeah, the package takes. Oh, it got here. Ooh, let's go.
Okay. And once again, you find yourselves in darkness. This time, however, it's because your eyes are still closed. You feel warm ground beneath you, the crackling of leaves as you slowly regain your consciousness. You move your bodies a little bit, once again regaining control over all of yourself. You open your eyes, one by one, taking in the surrounding area. It is beautiful. It is different. A 10 to 12 foot high stone wall stands tall and firm, only 50 feet away from you. Behind it are massive and beautifully shaped buildings. Somehow symmetrical, in other places oddly curved, like the stroke of a brush on parchment or the waves of a calm ocean. Lights flicker behind openings in the building's walls, shadows passing by for a brief moment on their journey through the unknown building. Faint sounds of conversation, laughter, celebration, and thunder ringing in the sky travel on the wind into your ears. You are nearby a few unoccupied bushes that, for the most part, obscure you in your current position.
I'm going to immediately cast Pass Without a Trace on us.
Of course you are.
Yeah. He can move.
To everyone. Oh,
Yeah, he's just gonna say we can move to a secure location now, hopefully undetected.
to to everyone, this is absolutely foreign. Perhaps Clue, you might have seen buildings similar to these ones in terms of structure, but not these ones in particular. There is a certain elegance to them where perhaps in Meikoku you would say perhaps somewhat whimsical. Not careless in the sense that they could fall apart any moment, but there's a certain joy to the structures even. There's a certain joy to most people that live in Meikoku, but here you can sense tension, even in the structures. It is serious. Perhaps takes itself too serious even for your taste. It reminds you of Heidi in an oddly familiar way. Heidi, this is your home. You've not seen it for a while, but you recognize this wall. You recognize this building. The air smells familiar, feels familiar on your skin. Even the ground beneath you feels like the hug of a friend that you haven't seen in a while. You're home again. And naturally, you're all covered up by fucking darkness once again. Roll me stealth checks, please, all of you.
God. I don't even know what kind of number this is gonna be now.
55.
What was it, Jack?
Stealth check. You have, what is it, plus 12?
Yeah,
from
plus
Malachi?
10.
10?
12.
12, no?
It's dark
Yeah, yeah.
out, so it's plus 12.
Oh my lord.
Let's go.
ID
Home. It's the home
75.
turf advantage.
Yeah. Clue 37. ID 33.
Yeah.
Does half plate do disadvantage?
Say that again, please.
Is half plate disadvantage?
Yeah.
It depends on the kind you have, I believe.
I think it's just regular half plate.
Like a general unit.
Half plate is a type of medium armor. It should be disadvantage.
Disadvantages.
Okay.
I'm gonna. First thing Aida does, like as soon as we get there, she doesn't really like move or do anything else. Just like stands and closes her eyes, feeling like the smell of the air and the feeling of everything else. Kind of in a moment of like quiet introspection. Like Malachi casts the spell, etc. She's just like there, feeling the vibe. Like, okay. And she exhales and opens her eyes. If I recognize the castle, then it can only be one castle, I suppose.
You tell me? Well, it's not truly a castle. Perhaps the image is a little bit misleading. It is a large structure, that is for sure, but what comes to Heidi's mind?
Well, the only castle that Heidi has been in is really like the Tenjoin Castle, and sort of like it's a keep, and like there is the main keep with many floors and rooms and areas, and then there is like an adjoining, it's one of those castles that have a city like around it, surrounding it, but obviously the main keep is a castle in and of itself. After that, she might have seen other like places from afar, castle-like buildings, sort of like in the middle of cities that she briefly visited, but she was kind of like on the run at that point and just going from town to town and not trying to go to the center of cities. So she's not like a proper noble, so she hasn't been to other castles on visits. She's always lived her whole life in one. So the first one that she would be thinking about when seeing a structure like this would be that one. But she also knows it like the back of her hand, so she knows if it's this one or not.
Give me a perception check. You'll have advantage here.
Yeah. And as for the stealth check, I would say that I already like feeling like that she is back home. It's not even an active like a dexterity thing. It's more like her even like the magic around her body just naturally adjusting to the place and blending her in with the shadows, kind of like innately.
Like a natural instinct.
But yeah. 14. I'm gonna add a guidance there, because...
With advantage.
15.
Eh?
Oh, advantage.
Mhm.
Okay. Forgot about that.
Vantage.
Well,
Ouch.
15 it is.
But a 15 is good enough for you. You've been here before. You've lived here before. This is not the Tangerine Castle. However, with that perception check, you are able to spot a couple banners that hang off the side of the structure. One of them, certainly larger than the others, purely golden. And you can see on that golden banner a red spider lily, confirming to you what that might mean. Next to that one, you see another banner, obviously still respectable in size, but knowing what it is like here, you know that it is certainly on purpose, that it's slightly smaller and less imposing. There's another banner, a dark blue banner with a full moon printed on it. And next to that one is one more, purple banner with a yellow chrysanthemum on it. You surely must recognize all three of these. In fact, you do. From seeing these banners and knowing that this is not the main castle, you can make your own deductions. Or it could perhaps simply be an outpost. A large one at that. Perhaps a headquarters of sort. You're not sure. But the banners speak to you. What they speak to you, I'll leave to you.
Okay, let me jot that down. Can you repeat the symbols again?
We have a purple backdrop with a yellow chrysanthemum, a blue backdrop with a full moon, and a golden banner with a red spider lily.
Where did I put my document?
I can link to it.
Oh, that would be very helpful. I'm looking at my Google Drive like, motherfucker, what?
I will have it open for constant reference here.
Yes. You are wise. I literally searched up on and didn't hit anything. Anyway, okay. Right. Yellow chrysanthemum over a purple backdrop. It's... Yeah, I did turns to the others. part of it, but we are in joint territory.
Quite the building. A little too stuck up for my taste, but certainly grand.
That's awesome.
Please don't get too excited. Well, in the heraldry over there indicates that this is joint turf, but well, it's their flag. Posted bigger than the other ones, obviously. The others are the Shinagawa clan and the Lao clan. They're both her. The little
Shinagawa
samurai lieutenants are the leaders of those clans, essentially.
What was it Clue said?
I was just trying to get all the names in so I could write it down.
Oh yeah. Got him in chat. I've read your mind.
Are the flags, the banners, like the other two smaller ones? Is any of them like in the center of, or small, or bigger than the other one?
Those two are mostly the same size. I would say whatever differences there are to most people wouldn't necessarily be noticeable. I think you could tell perhaps that the Shinagawa one is slightly bigger. And I guess a little something that you might understand is that there probably were arguments about the sizes of the banners, and they came to probably some sort of agreement. Perhaps there was even a contract involved, who knows, that states that this will be the size of the banners and both parties will have to agree to that. Whether it was actually agreeable to both parties or not, that'd be irrelevant considering who the true head of these houses is.
Well, it's difficult to point out exactly where we are, but thankfully it's the middle of the night.
We'll just keep an eye out for if anyone is eyeing them or keeping an eye on them from anywhere.
Give me a perception check.
The Tenjuins are the ones who Heidi was initially raised by, but then tried to arrest her and execute her, right? Or arrest her, right? I don't remember if she
Yes.
they tried to execute. Okay.
Well, this is probably just joint territory, but still, it would be more prudent if we just teleported out of here and into my own turf. But we'll have to wait a little bit. Casting the spell is a little taxing. I need to recover myself.
I can keep us shielded from most people's eyes for the next hour. We can find somewhere secure for you to rest.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Blue, with a 23, you spot a couple figures walking along this wall. There's a few outside the wall, more atop the wall, and they all look extremely bulky. If you thought Heidi was well built for a lady, the creatures that are walking in the darkness here are massive. Disturbingly wide shoulders, limbs like tree trunks, heavy weapons on their back, swords, spears, larger than you're used to. And each of these creatures also, against the silvery light of the moon, you can make out has horns on their head. Very similar to the ones that Heidi has. Not identical, but certainly speaks on their relationship.
Let's stay out of sight.
Yes, that is the plan for now. Well, we should just hope this is some sort of recent acquisition or an outpost of some sort, although it looks a little large to be something so simple. We shouldn't be in the middle of Lao territory, or their banners would be more spread out over the plains. As long as we're not too close to the castle. Anyway, we should find a spot that is good enough to stay put for a while.
Alright.
You come up
And-
here, right? Is there a secluded spot we can find in the woods to rest?
So there's ID, Jax, Malachi, Clue, and ID's clone.
Oh, did the clone actually fully come with us? I thought she was staying behind.
I have 2 clones. One of them stay behind.
Bruh. Can't believe you used you used your clone to cast homunculus.
Yeah, I just keep multiplying. Like I have a fucking army of bunnies.
Oh wait, no, the homunculus was the bunny. What was the? I forget what the clone was. Oh no, that was never mind.
That's on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast invisibility at 6th level on everyone.
Okay.
Wow, we're invisible and untraceable.
Yeah, it's cause technically, like, even with Pass Without a Trace, we can't hide if we don't have cover. And just making sure we, like, have permanent cover.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna cast
this.
Yes. Sorry, what?
Just pick a spell for me, just for
Yes.
record's sake.
Here. How do I just ping it without casting it?
I don't think you just click on it and then tell it not to consume the spell slot.
Okay.
You tell him to look it up himself. Is what you do.
Fuck. Okay, so 3rd level.
I guess I have to touch everyone, so I'm just gonna, like, sort of
What?
touch each person with, like, one with the foot, other with the other foot, another with the hand, another with the hand, and my clone I'm just gonna, like, boop with the forehead.
Boop, boop, boop.
Or we could all just touch. No, I guess not.
Finish the sentence, I dare you.
Well, it's gonna do the much easier version instead of you looking foolish. Where we all touch
Yeah.
you.
I was mostly kidding. I'm probably just gonna ask everyone, like, yo, Kate, tap my shoulder real quick.
Yeah.
And you all
It was
vanish
logical.
from sight.
Yes. Okay, now we should have more wiggle room to find a decent place.
Well, tourists here. Show us the sights.
I would love to at another moment. Currently we have more pressing matters, but yes, let's go. And I lead them out away from the castle and the constant patrols that are probably happening there, and trying to look for a way. If those are like actual woods out of the castle, like further into the woods, but if it's just like sort of like vegetation and then there's more like a city or something, like then trying to just get out to like a less clearly guarded area.
Okay. This is the exterior of the wall, so there's a little bit of vegetation here, but you can tell that it's been mostly removed, probably in order to keep any incoming threats from being able to hide well outside of the wall. But seeing as it is the exterior, you push onward deeper into the woods, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I assume you guys will have a little bit of a train situation happening here where everybody's holding on to one another since you can't see each other at this moment even.
True.
Besides one or two of you that have special sight.
I can sense everyone.
And so you walk deeper into the woods. The sounds and light of the city around you, or before you, begin to diminish and eventually be consumed entirely by the woodwork that you're now walking into. Several minutes pass of you walking. 5, 10, 15 minutes before Heidi probably feel as though you're far away enough now.
Very well. This is probably a good enough spot. I will set up an isolated space for us to rest. And I'm going to... This is a ritual spell, right? It's not? How the fuck is Tiny Hut not ritual? Fuck me.
It is. Did they
It
change
is.
it?
Doesn't say anywhere here that it's a ritual. Let me check. on
It has been
5e.
forever. Did they change it in
It's
2021?
a ritual. Yeah, 1 minute or ritual.
Just
What's
check
going on
it.
about, bruv?
Yeah. Okay. No, it's just the version on.
You typed it
Oh,
wrong.
that is a little ritual icon. Yeah. It only has like the ritual icon. It doesn't say anywhere else that it's a ritual.
Just
Assumes I'm gonna do. Just assumes I'm gonna know that the icon means a ritual. But anyway, yeah.
The hard R icon right there.
I'm gonna ritual cast Tiny Hut while we're there.
Ritual. Okay.
I'm gonna begin speaking in. This time, unlike the Crimson Blue Veil, like Heidi's spell components are usually like several phrases in Honish that are convoking, which you can now tell like they're invoking like she's not just applying like her own energy, but she's asking like the land itself to sort of like collaborate and let her borrow its power, and the gods of nature and the rocks and the earth and the trees, etc. In this case, since it's Tiny Hut, to like let us use this place as our shelter for the time being.
Praying to Orin.
Yes, Orin, please.
Orin's tiny hut. Okay. The moment you cast your spell, obviously, invisibility will fade on you. But, once again...
Why? Oh, I can... yeah.
Yeah. But, once again, you are protected from onlookers. In a different way this time, but... Tiny hut is up. The dome, once again, created by Ivy.
Okay, well. Now we can all take a breather. I will just be recovered in a second, and then I will teleport us straight into the workshop. It should be fine, but also prepare yourself since we'll be dropping into territory that we don't know where, you know, if we're going to find anything untoward there. Regardless.
We've been away several months. The Tenjuins could have taken over the space.
It's true, though I would find it in rather poor taste by my master not to tell me of that. Well, he did say things turned a bit sour, so perhaps that was what he meant. But anyway, if we're doing something, we're going to need a home base. And the workshop seems like a good place to start, or at least the adjoining area. While we're here...
I was gonna say, speaking of Tenjoin, Shingawa, Lao. Actually, I don't know if you said those names, so I'm not gonna say them.
I did.
Okay, then I will say that. Who should we be on the lookout for in general? Or what are
If
these families like?
Well, those two are samurai clans. They're not mages. They are vassals of the Tenjoin. Essentially, the heads of either of those clans are like Benihana's right and left hands. The Shinagawas have given up on having territory of their own, essentially. They have completely submitted to the Tenjoins and act mostly as their personal bodyguards. They are sort of an elite defense force of sorts, which means even though their symbol is on the banner over there, they are not likely to be around if Benisama herself is not around. Although that is not a rule. Sometimes they may be sent on missions. As for the Lao clan, they are not as close to her. They only basically interceding things when they are called for, and otherwise just mind their own business inside their own territory. But they are still in charge of protection all over the place. So they have patrols, guards, other sorts of things, and if she wants something acquired, she will usually send them out.
And are they happy vassals or begrudging?
I don't actually know the leader of the Lao clan. I know that her name is Xinghei. She's younger than I am. She's said to be quite talented, but again, I've never met the woman. As for Mayumi, the leader of the Shinagawa clan, current one at least, she is very, very fiercely loyal, devoted to her.
There goes that plan. Or avenue, at least.
The Tenjoin clan is not cruel to its vassals. In fact, most people under her like her very much. Of course, cracks are bound to form when you begin to expose them, but at least on my time here, I didn't catch any whiffs of people being disloyal or even unwilling to serve, at least from those who were still already underneath her.
Alright. Sorry, you were saying something?
Me?
Before the whole clan talk.
That is basically what I was going to say.
Huh.
So you are a little acquainted with those that Benihana has under her rule. course, they are not the only ones. She has other vassal clans, mage ones specifically. Those two are sort of just her military force, her muscle, if you will. Samurai are not gifted in magic, but they are very loyal and they tend to follow their code of honor to the letter. Plus, they have the pesky ability to resist magic to a certain degree.
Clan politics is the same everywhere. All happy families look alike. Or something like that. So, another thing. You're looking for a... Pupil's too strong a word. An heir?
Quite. It would be good if I could find someone to succeed me in the event of my demise.
So that... Is that something you'll be personally taking care of? Or should we be on the lookout for someone with some sort of traits? You have a list? Imagine you have a list.
That would be quite like me, wouldn't it? But I am more like feeling it. Of course, if you think, based on my personality, you have met someone who you think would cater to my tastes, then by all means.
Malachi smirks and raises a hand. I volunteer.
I don't think you fit the criteria.
Just please don't promise them anything. I will still need to evaluate anyone thoroughly. But obviously you know the basic requisites. It must be someone moderately intelligent, prudent. Of course, if it's someone young, they might not be completely developed yet in that regard, but someone who shows a minimum of drive and cunning, a willingness to learn. I don't like ignorant people, especially not people that remain willfully ignorant. It's fine if you don't know things, but you should want to know them.
And it's touchy, I do have to ask. Do you want to know the truth of what happened to you that night?
Yes, I do. I don't want only to know. I wish for it to be exposed to anyone who would think otherwise.
Right? Add it to the list.
Do they have to be, like, one of you? One of your kind?
She looks with a, mild annoyance, but still. It's not disgust, but it's, one step before disgust. It doesn't have to be. Although you are hard pressed to find people in Han who aren't. But it doesn't. But the thing is, magic crests rely on genetic compatibility. There is a chance of failure for the transfer, so usually crests are transferred to next of kin, that is, children. Or failing a children, a sibling, someone very, very close. The farther you are from...
If the transfer fails, are you able to try again with someone else?
I can, yes. There is, according to the text, some residual damage to the person who was to receive the crest, but not to the one who tried to transfer it to begin with. So I could simply try again, but it would be a little bit of a waste of time for me to nurture an heir, only for them to not be compatible, so it would be good to try for maximum compatibility. There is already a risk of failure if we pick an Onijin who is not related to me by blood, at least not closely. This risk would be even higher for someone who is not an Onijin, so
Didn't you say that
Again.
you were an orphan? How are we gonna find someone related to you by blood?
I never said I was an orphan, actually. I was raised by the clan, but I don't know anything about what happened to my parents. My best guess is that they sold me.
Sounds like
But
an orphan to me.
Perhaps in the sense that I didn't have biological parents close to me growing up, but they could still be alive and I could have biological siblings. But no, we are not likely to find anyone who is blood related to me. But obviously, since we share the species, there is some genetic proximity between all Onijin. You know, go far down the family line enough and everyone is related.
To that end, are you a particular kind of Oni, Jin? Kitsune come in varieties. I assume that you do too.
We have some variation in our traits, usually based on which of the three great deities we take the most after. But it is not to a very significant degree. It's more like a unique personal characteristics. You wouldn't be able to truly tell at a glance. It's not like you would be looking for an Onijin with the same skin color as me, or the same amount of horns, or the same color of horns, or things like that. Obviously, those who come from a similar region are more likely to be closer to me genetically. Just statistically, but we'll still need to do many evaluations once we've found someone suitable.
And let's say if they have a blessing from one of the exalted here, which one fancy?
I mean, I don't...
Asking you to choose a favorite parent. I'm sorry.
All of the three gods are great in their own respect. I have grown closer to the Concealer, obviously, Lady Tsukuyomi, but I don't have a set preference for her necessarily.
Useful to know if I doubt the gods care too much about the ongoings of clans, but a fondness from one you're close with could help the process along, at the very least.
Possibly, yes. Well, first we have to find someone who has the potential. Someone who can be raised, nurtured the correct way to carry my legacy forward. questions about our immediate concerns?
Blue shakes his head, but sighs just a little bit.
You know, while we're here in Tinjman territory, is there anything we could look into about why they turned on you?
The most basic facts would be to look for what I was condemned for exactly and what other clan was involved. Those should not. I don't know how public that knowledge is going to be since it's already been years since, but it should be something that is not too tightly veiled, so people in positions of power or bureaucracy of some way should be aware of the divulged version of the facts. It's a starting point, especially since then we'll know who to shake for more information. The Join clan is the biggest tree around, but it's not the only one. I already have some ideas of people that could be
We could go kidnap
contacted.
someone and bring them back here.
Don't kidnap people for fun.
Not for fun, for business. I could.
When
kidnap
Malachi and
someone.
Heidi are on the same wavelength.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, if it gets to that, we could, but we
Who
can't
looks at
be.
it?
We can't
Who
just
looks
be
at it?
careless about it. People
Who
will
looks at-
notice.
Clue looks at Jax when you two agree and is like, "Do you see that shit?"
Yep, not. That something's weird. Something's not up. This ain't right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, right?
Nope.
Hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Depends if the roll keeps spinning.
Well, anyway. We shouldn't carelessly kidnap people from influential clans, especially not those who are in leadership positions or close to that. Their absence would be quickly noticed and that could become a problem. But as for coercing answers out of others, I have my ways as well.
Okay.
Just
Question about any sort of manners we should know about here. Certain parts of Makoku, if you're around nobility, you have to cover your face while speaking.
well, there is a proper manner to address those who are in a higher station, but you should be aware of how to speak. Since the Frost Maiden dumped so much information into your brains.
Very much so, Airi-sama. He says as sarcastically as possible.
But, as a general rule, you should bow to those who are... Well, when you greet people respectfully in general, but to those who are in a higher position than you, you should always lower your head more than they are lowering theirs. It is seen as a slight if your head is above theirs. Also, while on a table, there is a certain order to sit. The person with most influence will sit in a certain spot, and those who are closer to them, or in terms of ranking, will sit closer to them, and the lower you are in the ranking, you will sit farther away from that spot at the head of the table.
Okay. And how would you like to portray us? What are we to you while we're here?
Well, if you don't mind being my servant, that will be what you are. If you mind particularly to be, you can be my associates of sorts. But in any case, you are to be in the service of the Matsuoka clan. That is important.
Malachi just kind of smirks in the disguise and says, I could be your lover.
No.
Cleo, like, physically winces.
he just
I didn't
laughs.
like that either.
Honestly,
What is going on here, man?
the idea
Malachi's making a move.
I don't know why. I think that grossed me out more than you, honestly. That it's like two siblings.
Oh no.
It's just a relief.
Please do not imply I am a sibling to this man.
Not like in that sense, but you bicker a lot, and you're forced to be close together even though you don't necessarily like one another, and you're always working towards common goals.
Apologies. I think being out of the Shadowfell and simultaneously it's a relief and also longing for the darkness that's addled my mind.
Oh, I get it. I feel very... Even though the situation is tense, I feel relaxed to be home. I can already feel that my magic grows stronger here, at any rate. On that note, I do wish we could have acquired some more information out of the castle that we landed in, but at this stage it would be too risky. We don't really know where we are, so I decided against it.
I mean, if they don't have any magical traps, I could try sneaking in, stealing some
No, we are
books.
very far from it. I
Let's
should
get
be...
this settled first before we think about any sort of covert operations.
Yes. Besides, now that I have seen the castle, I can spy on it sometimes. Well, it seems like this is enough time. I can feel that my power has come back somewhat. Are you all set to go?
My makeup look okay.
Hey, you look great.
Yes.
This episode is turning so gay. Like, what is happening?
Yes, Queen.
Not that.
I mean, more than half the party members are some level of queer if you think about it.
Some level of queer.
It's true.
Yeah.
I am a level 13 queer.
Level
I'm
13
multi-classed.
My God. It is multi-class.
Yeah,
Jack's
Jack's
just-
almost multi-classed into
Yeah.
queer, but he didn't.
My God.
It's actually 20 levels. It's
I
2
mean,
levels.
all warlocks are queer, so like that's just like he's got oh god, what's his name? Back in the Frostmaiden's Keep. Shoot, I forgot
oh.
his name.
We all know who he is,
Uh-huh.
but nobody actually cares about him like as a person. It's
Oh,
just like
that
that one guy that Jax has had the gay synergy with.
Yeah. I don't remember him.
It's
So
a
cold.
lover.
It's so fair though. Yeah, I'm ready. I have to practice this voice now. Clue starts slowly speaking a little bit lighter.
Well, then off we go. All going to plan. We should meet my master. Don't expect him to be as talkative as I am.
You're talkative?
For lack of a better term, he's just not as good with people as I am, so to speak.
Okay, I see.
I mean,
So
you
he-
guys weren't there with the dwarves, but for Jax, you can imagine he's a little more like the dwarves.
What were the dwarves like?
They grunted a lot.
Oh, so they're like. Okay, got it.
Emotionally stunted a little bit. Anyway, off we go. And once we finish the short rest, I'm going to cast Teleport. And
Okay.
teleport us to the right, like the inside the entrance of the Matsuoka family's workshop.
Oh, you're not just straight
Okay.
up taking the teleportation circle?
What?
Oh. I figured it would be a teleportation circle.
I mean, I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
It's
whatever
cooler
slot
to
you wanna
use
spend.
teleport.
Because like I have a linked object from there, so like it doesn't increase our odds necessarily to use like a circle. The linked object is like most of my things, my clothes.
No. I just figure. Well, I think teleport can also just go directly to its circle if you know its sigils.
Yeah, it can.
I just assumed you'd use teleportation circle to like save a slot.
I mean,
Well,
I
about
would
that.
use teleport directly, because like the teleportation circle that transported her there, she didn't like memorize the sigils. She only saw it in passing, and she's not sure what's up with it, because it was what got her into Pernod, and she doesn't know where it's like what its purpose was, etc. So she's like, just gonna
It's a
go
little sketchy.
to the entrance.
and as you cast your spell, Heidi, that will bring the party to the Matsuoka clan's workshop. I know it's a shorter session, but that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Makes sense.
No.
Let's go.
Incorrect.
First off, welcome to Han. Welcome to Shatrix. And two little things from my side that I want to put out there. First off, a reminder to those that do know, and maybe just new information if you don't know, but in Shatrix, the moons have effects on what is happening in the land. And those effects will be true here as well. So since Ramiel is in the sky, Ramiel is considered to be an omen of good luck of sorts. And all of you do fulfill the necessary conditions for the positive benefits of the moon. While you're in direct moonlight, your characters are under the effect of the bless spell.
Oh shit, nice.
Also, your creature types have advantage on death saving throws.
What is our creature?
Pog.
Humanoid.
Anything
Okay.
other than monstrosities and aberrations.
Ah, okay.
And for the second point, I'm actually going to give the stage over to Heidi, but here's an alternate rule for spell slots that we'll be playing with during this arc. Heidi wanted to try it, and I said that's totally fine with me. If you guys want to use it as well, you're welcome to do so, but if you prefer to stick to the old rules, you're also welcome to do that. But rather than spell slots, we'll be playing with a mana system here. So Heidi, if you don't mind briefly explaining it, what you did to me, because it made a lot of sense.
It's the variant like spell point system. Kevin is already familiar with it, obviously, because Yukikamaine.
You kick it
Yeah, because, you know, he's been using it in our Wednesday games, but it's a variant rule from the 2014 handbook. It's not in the 2024 one, offensively so, but still. Which essentially, like, instead of having fixed spell slots, you have a number of spell points that you expend to cast spells instead. When you do the math for it, it's the same amount of casts if you use the same amount of spells as it's in the book. So for instance, if you have like 4 level 1 spells and 2 level 2 spells, the spell point system is going to give you the necessary spell points to cast exactly that amount of spells. But
It just lets you be more flexible with where you spend them.
exactly, because instead of casting like exactly that, like 4 level 1s and 2 level 2s, you can choose to cast all level 1 spells and cast like much more of them because they are cheaper than level 2 spells. Or alternatively, you can choose to like forego casting the level 1 spells and cast more level 2 spells with the amount of spell points that you have. So you can kind of like just go all in on massive spells, or you can be frugal but still cast like a bunch of stuff. Like, oh, I'm just gonna turn into like a magic missile machine and do that all day. Like at a certain level, you can just keep doing that every action and you're never gonna get tired. And you don't have to upcast spells to do that because it's annoying. But yeah, that's basically like the benefit. Obviously, from a DMing standpoint, it also frees up some potential to mess with spells in other ways. Like you can give players benefits that like increase their maximum spell points, or cut the spell point cost of certain spells for like items or subclasses or whatever. Like it has a broader design, I feel like, than spell slots, but it's a bit more number crunchy to use. Like it's way easier to just mark off spell slots than having to do the math of subtracting all of the spell points every time. So that's